everybody, I'm Mike DeSepoli, and welcome to the Heritage Market Minute for Monday, July 19, 2021. Hope you had a great weekend. Markets are starting the week on a downbeat note as there's rising concerns about COVID-19. This time the Delta variant. It has a lot of investors a little bit spooked, wondering if this is going to derail the economic recovery. We see this as a good opportunity as markets pull back to reassess the different investments that we have and look for opportunities in the market that we may want to add to our strategy. We do not think that this is the end of the run, but rather an opportunity for markets to work off a little bit of excess gains that we've seen over the last 6 weeks and prepare and consolidate for their next move. Now, we have to remember when markets pull back, right, there's always a reason. Investors are always looking for what the reason is, and corrections will always find a reason. But naturally, corrections will occur, and they're very healthy for the general market structure. When you look at the market and what it's done over the last 6 weeks, we've had a very powerful move to the upside, which was met with a lot of new all-time high records day after day after day. And obviously, we like to see the good times roll, but we do have to expect at some point markets will correct, and that by doing so, they give back some of their recent gains to try to build a base to move what we think hopefully will be higher through the rest of the summer. Now, it's interesting, the narrative has shifted a lot, right? When we were correcting, the markets went through a correction, March and April, even some of it spilled over into May. The catalyst back then was rising treasury yields, right? The economic recovery was looking so good. The 10-year yield, which is a barometer we look at quite often, was rising substantially towards 2%. The narrative at that time when markets were correcting was yields are too high, they're moving up too quickly, and this will derail the stock market. Well, fast forward 6 to 8 weeks, where we sit today, yields have not gone higher, they've actually gone lower, down to 1.19% as of this morning, which again, as we've talked about, low yields, good for stocks, good for growth stocks, but investors are a little spooked because yields have moved down very quickly. So the point is, the media will find an excuse, they'll find something to pinpoint as the reason for that correction. But corrections will occur naturally regardless of what the reasons are. So yields were too high, yields were too low, yields are just right, whatever it may be, the market will figure it out eventually. And what we believe is the market will reassess the environment, acknowledge that the Delta variant is something to contend with, but the whole world is not going to go back into lockdown, and the market will see and realize that we have a very good interest rate environment. The Fed is still with their foot on the gas pedal, and Treasury yields now have come down a lot, which favor growth stocks and the tech sector. So that's how we think it's going to play out. Bottoms usually take a couple days, right? So when corrections end, sometimes we don't know they're over until we get a couple days of green and a move back towards the upside. But nonetheless, they will end. They do reverse at some point when the news and people reassess that maybe the news is not all that bad. So what we're watching for this week is obviously the general market action. We've moved into earnings season once again. The banks reported last week, results were very strong, and this week we'll see a lot of other large American corporations deliver their financial results. So we'll be watching that closely, watching the 10-year, watching the earnings, watching the market activity in general. We are in the summer months, so volumes are a little bit lighter. It's not abnormal, I should say, to see volatility in the markets. So we've learned to accept volatility as something that creates opportunities within our strategy. So that's all we have here for today for the Heritage Market Minute. If you have any questions, we ask you to reach out to us. Always happy to talk to you about the things that matter with your money. We hope you have a great Monday, and we'll be back later this week. Take care.